Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. It's pretty early in the morning. I just wanted to give you a little garden update here. My green beans have started to clear the soil well here. My lima beans over here are just starting to poke up through the soil in a few places. There's my kale. It's going pretty good. We've already cut some of the big leaves off and ate them. All these little leaves were real tiny at the beginning of the week. My soybeans are just starting to come up a little bit over here. Now, you see there's a few weeds that have germinated. Typically what I do on the seeds is I wait till the soybeans have cleared the soil real well and I'm well defined as to what's what before I pull the weeds out there. And then also when I'm applying the weekly feed, I don't feed the seeds because I don't want the fertilizer to burn those young plants. I'll wait till they get pretty well established. I'll give it another week or two probably before I start feeding them. So right now they're just going off of the pre-plant and first dose of weekly feed that I tilled into the soil before I planted, which is enough for the seedlings. Peppers are looking happy. Tomato, that one's getting big. That's the cherry tomato heirloom plant. Looks like it has a sucker I'm going to have to prune off soon. The rest of the tomatoes are getting established. They're looking happier, but they're still not a whole lot bigger yet. The cantaloupe have taken off really well. You see this yellowing and scorching around the edges of the leaves on the squash here and on a couple of the cucumbers. That is a symptom of a calcium deficiency. So I'm not seeing it on the newest leaves, and I do have calcium in my weekly feed. So I'm going to give it just a little while before I do a treatment. And the cantaloupes are just fine. They don't seem to be minding. But I may be doing a dose of calcium here soon. Just some dolomite lime to help sweeten that soil up. And your watermelons, cantaloupe, cucumber, squash, any of those vine kind of plants, they really love the calcium. Tomatoes love calcium too, but they really love magnesium even more, which are in the weekly feed, so I'm not too worried about it. So this garden's coming along pretty good. Now I put these upside down tomato baskets here to kind of train the squash as it grows up to grow more vertically. And that's not part of the Mittleider method. And it's a lot of times you think that you have a good idea, even though something's not part of the Mittleider method. But what I can tell you that does is because when I water, let me show you. I use this watering wand right here. And what this does is, I won't do it much because I did just water. It allows me to get down at the base of the soil without getting the leaves wet and keep things really low. Well, then, I reach across usually and water this side. What this does is makes it so I can't get my watering wand in there without moving things around. It makes it harder to water effectively and prevent splashing the leaves. Now, on your plants like squash, cucumbers, cantaloupe, watermelons, right, any of those melony type plants or squashy type plants are real susceptible to powdery mildew. Now, about once every 2 weeks I will apply sulfur to these, just because I've always had problems fighting powdery mildew in the past, and those spores live in the soil. And sulfur does a real good job of preventing it if you apply it before you get it, but it doesn't do such a good job of getting rid of it once it's established. So that's just me. I'll apply sulfur. And also on my kales, I will treat those with BT on almost a weekly basis because I'll tell you, I had those started inside, and as I brought them out to plant them, I'm like, something's been eating on the leaves. And I look, and there's a freaking caterpillar worm laying in the dirt from the plants where they were started inside. So a moth has gotten in the window, laid an egg, and I had caterpillar worm before I even brought him outside. So I treat, BT is an organic pesticide. It's a bacteria that gets deadly to caterpillars, but not humans. And I'll use that because I won't be able to grow things like cabbage, lettuce, kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. I can't grow those things otherwise. It's just, the cabbage worm is too prevalent in my backyard. So now every night after work I have been working on getting the other bed together. I'm just about there. I think I'll have it finished today. As you can see, I've got the T-frames up. I've got the boards on the outside, and I put the wires in, but I haven't tightened them yet. The soil will need a good tilling through. I'll have to remove this temporary support board. Now, on my other bed, I put the 2x4s this way, because this was a 2x4 going through here. Since I'm doing this on the middle T-frame post, and it's not a 2x4, I didn't have a long enough screw, so I had to put the boards the other way and screw them from over here and down. But it'll work fine. It's plenty sturdy enough. I did sink these 2x6s farther down into the ground, so I didn't have to move a bunch of soil this time. So I'm hoping to have this planted out, and then in between the big hole I dug for topsoil and this bed, there's just going to be an 18-inch wide. I'm probably not even going to be able to get enough to level it and make a real Mittleider soil bed out of it with the ridges. I'll probably just till an 18-inch wide spot, and I'm going to throw some corn down. Now, I live in the heart of the corn belt. And you see it's shady over here now, but as soon as the sun clears this tree, it'll be sunny here all day. It's pretty early in the morning. It's about 8 o'clock. Well, maybe 7:30ish. But you know, I'll give it the weekly feed, and corn just grows here. You know, corn. This field behind me hasn't been used in years and years, but it used to all be a cornfield too. Actually, my friend's father, who's a farmer, used to rent that and farm it, but the church bought it. There's a road over on the other side of these trees with a church, and they bought this whole field area. And they do cut it down once in a while, but they haven't really done anything with it. But I'd like to get probably just a 30-foot row of corn going down here to the other side of this old lilac tree. And that'll give me 76 ears of corn. I'll have 3 different types of corn I'm planting. And I may put one section of corn here. Then I've got gourmet green beans, sugar snap peas, and snow peas to go in here. So I really like the gourmet green beans to kind of fry them up. They did have this like hybrid green bean that said it was an asparagus bean, and it's supposed to taste like asparagus, but it's a bean. I didn't buy it, but I thought about it. I might go back and get it and just do 4 types of beans in here, because I do like asparagus. I just haven't planted any yet. But it's coming along. I've got 2 garden beds now. So the other thing I'll say, like weeding, like you see on this side, there's a few weeds right there. They're just starting to sprout through the soil. I just did this section today. So what I do is just one of these 10-foot sections every morning when I come out to water. I go pull the little weeds out. Like I missed a couple tiny ones here. But get them while they're young, you can just pull them right out. And you know, you go through that little 10-foot section, you're done. But just doing some of them every day, it makes it a lot easier on you than letting them grow till they get bigger, because then the roots are more stuck in there. Right now the roots are young, you can pull them right out by the root. And once that seed for that weed is germinated, it's not going to germinate again. So you're not going to have a weed problem going forward. Last year I actually got to the point in my little beds that I just didn't have to weed anymore because there was nothing there to grow. Be kind of interesting to see. You see all of these like white things in the dirt. Those are flowers and seed little seeds from my big locust trees over here. So we'll have to see if any of those germinate. I might have a hell of a time getting all that stuff out. I don't know. But there's not much you can do about it. It just decides to start dropping its little flowers, and there's a little seed attached to the end of some of them. And there ain't much you can do other than just deal with it, I guess. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's going real well. Strings, some of the stuff I'm starting to get tied and going up a string. Some of it I'm still kind of waiting on it to take off. What I find is the garden here will really start to take off, your tomatoes and peppers anyway, and your cucumbers once the nights are hot too. So right now it's been real hot during the day. In fact, yesterday I had to move. I was working on the T-frames to get those built and put in. I had to move over to the shade over here with my sawhorses, and I set up my industrial shop fan on the picnic table to stay cool. But then last night I'm putting on sweatpants and covering up to stay warm because it got so chilly. So once those nights start to get warm, then this soil temperature really warms up, and these plants will just grow. You'll come out like every day and they're twice as big as they were. So we're still pretty early in the real heart of the growing season here, especially the weather's been colder than normal. So for this time of year, I'd say our weather's off by about 2 to 3 weeks this year. So I'm expecting this time next week or the week after that things will really take off here, which is why I need to get this thing planted. So I'm going to work on going through, really tilling and leveling out that soil, tightening the wires, running. I may get all my strings in, I may not. But I've also got to cut the front and backyard because the grass has grown so much again. And then planning on going shooting today. A friend of mine, a neighbor and friend, wants to shoot the AK. So we're going to go out and go shooting. His kids and sister's kids want to shoot it as well, and they haven't shot guns before. So I'm not taking them this time, but I'd like to take him, get him comfortable with it, and then have him go with me with the kids, because it's a lot of kids to have with you at the range. I'm going to need extra adult that knows kind of what's going on to help. So, but that's what's going on in my little world. See all that grass up there? I mean, I just cut it a week ago, and it's already, some of it's already a foot tall. It's just growing like crazy. But that's it for now, folks. I will talk to you later. Thanks, everybody. Be happy and frugal out there.